Hi everybody, I'm Zilla Blitz and welcome to my Gaming Goals New Year's Resolutions video for 2025. I'm a person who likes to make lists and set goals, and so I thought I would share some of those with you. I would love to hear your gaming goals as well, so drop those down in the comments. With no delay, let's jump right in and get started. I've got 8 of them. These are in no particular order until we get to the very last one. Goal number 1, this is one that probably all of us have if we're involved with board games, is to play more games. But let me explain a little bit. If you have a YouTube channel and you're making videos about games, I think it's really easy that I've noticed over the past year or so is that you start talking about games and making videos about games, and you forget that actually the playing of the games is kind of what drives it all. So I really want to get back to that core of just playing more board games. To that extent, I'm going to put a specific goal on this. The goal is to play 365 games in 2025. Now, I've tested this out in December where I set the goal to be 31 games. And as of today, which is the last day of December, I've got 48 played. Now, I'm counting everything. Asynchronous plays on places like Boardgame Arena and Steam, in-person games, solo games, all of these different types of experiences I'm counting as a play. Everybody's got their own rules, and I realize that's fine. This is just what I'm using. Interestingly enough, the vast majority of my playing, what's morphed over the course of 2024, is the asynchronous games on places like Boardgame Arena and on Steam. I find that works really well with my lifestyle because I can take a quick 10 or 15 minute break over lunch during work, make a bunch of turns, make some turns in the morning, make some turns in the evening. I've got like 8 to 10 games going. That's been a big evolution in 2024, and I want to keep that up. One last caveat with that, as a historical gamer, I tend to play games that are very long, and it's really easy to kind of cheat on this one because like the other night we had some friends over and they wanted to play Exploding Kittens. We played 4 games of Exploding Kittens in like 25 minutes, right? So it's like I could play 365 games of Exploding Kittens and get this done really easy, but I want to try to just consciously keep that balance of playing as many historical games as I like to play, even though some of those games might be 6, 10, 12 hours long, the bigger, longer games. So I'm going to just put that to the side and try to keep my balance, but yet at the same time, get in 365 plays in 2025. Goal number 2, play more solo board games. Interestingly enough, when I started getting back into board games, it was in the middle of the pandemic, and I played everything solo. And one of my goals then was to find people to play games with. Happy to say that over the past couple years, I think that's one of the things, reflecting on my board gaming experience, that's one of the things that has really changed. I'm really grateful to all the people that I can play with, both asynchronously on places like Boardgame Arena and Steam and stuff like that, but also just kind of a local community that allows me to play games with them. We've got a work board game group that started now, a number of friends and acquaintances that I can play games with, and it's really been a transformational element of my gameplay to the point that I was sitting the other day going, like, my solo board gaming play has really dropped a lot over the back half of 2024. And I played a few games intentionally solo in December, and I was like, wow, I really, really enjoy this. So again, it's a matter of balance, and my goal to kind of make this a specific goal is kind of something that I was watching Alexander on the Player's Aid do, where he has a table with 3 solo board games going almost all the time. I don't have quite the space for that on my extra table, but I do have a table where I can have at least 1 solo board game going at all times. And so that's what I'm going to try to do to make this a tangible goal, is to have on that table a solo board game, war game, historical game that I'm playing at any given point in time. Goal number 3 is a realization that I've had over the course of 2024 that some of my most memorable and fun gaming experiences over the past couple years have been larger multiplayer games. I'm talking like 3 or 4 players, so not large, but more than 2 players. Large games, historical games, getting together in a space and time and playing a game that takes like 2, 3, 4 hours, or sometimes even a little bit longer to play. Those have been some of my best memories over the course of the past year as I reflect on my gameplay. And I want to be more intentional about building that into my 2025 gaming. It's tricky for me to do because weekday games are really tough to set up like that. But I'm thinking as a reasonable goal will be to play 1 kind of longer multiplayer game a month with a group of 3 or more people. And so that's something I want to build into my 2025 gaming. Goal number 4 is something that I kind of half did in 2024, but I want to be more intentional about it in 2025, and that is to track my board game plays. I started last year early on in the year. I did a couple weeks and then I kind of fell off the wayside. But then as of the middle of November this year, I said, let me see if I can really stick with this. So I've been really intentional about tracking my plays using the Board Game Stats app, which I really, really enjoy. And I've started figuring out some of the little nuances of how to use it. And so I'm really happy with that. I want to keep that up in 2025 and track all my plays. Now, I know a lot of people keep track of like lots of data, like how long it takes to play a game, who specifically was involved with that game. For me, to keep it simple, it's something that I know I can probably achieve. Just want to track the games played, how many people were playing them, and then probably the win-loss condition. I'm not a super competitive gamer. I mean, I play to win, but I don't really care who wins. I play more for the fun and for the narrative elements of games. But I do think I'll track just those 3 parameters and try to stick with it over the course of 2025. Reflecting on the previous 3 goals that I've talked about, I kind of need this one in order to be able to measure those. So that's part of the motivation as well. Plus, I just kind of like data. It's fun to look through the plays that you've had, and it kind of keeps the memories fresh too. Goal number 5 really has 2 dimensions. I'm calling it my experiment more goal. And by this, I mean both in 2 dimensions. The first is to create more videos about board games that are different than the videos I've made before. Even this one is an example of it. Like, let's make a video about my board gaming resolutions for 2025. I've never made a video like this before. So I want to kind of experiment more with different types of videos about board games, because I think I've kind of fossilized a little bit over the course of 2023 and 2024 in terms of the types of videos that I make. So kind of experiment more with that. The second thing too is experiment more with different types of games. One of my goals for December of this year was to play 10 games that I hadn't played and tracked on Board Game Stats before. So it might have been a game that I played like 5 years ago and I'm playing again, but a game that I haven't played in a long time. I think 10 new games a month is too hard, especially as a historical gamer where it can take a long time to learn a game. But I think I can do 5 new games a month, whereas maybe 2 or 3 of those will be historical games that are going to take time to learn, and the other ones will be games that are easier to learn and quicker to pick up. I think that's a reasonable goal. I had 7 new games in December, and that felt pretty manageable. So really, those 2 dimensions, the idea is to get a broader picture of what board gaming is, and both in terms of the expression that I do in terms of creating videos, and then in terms of what I'm getting in for input and experiencing as a board gamer so that I sample a wide range of games. Goal number 6 is a little bit of a personal goal that I thought I would share anyway. I was a little bit hesitant about sharing this one because it starts to get into kind of some of the nuts and bolts about who we are as people, right? But the goal is to get unstuck faster. And let me explain a little bit. Oftentimes what I've noticed over the course of even like the last 2 or 3 years, like when I'm making a video, is that sometimes I'll get stuck making that video because I'm not sure it's perfectionism. That's not really the right word, but it is some standard of quality that I'm holding myself up to. And so I sometimes get that prevents me from moving forward. I'm trying to make something that I envision is at like this level of quality, and maybe I don't quite understand the rules right, or I don't quite have a sense of game flow, or I'm just not quite sure how to create that video. So I get stuck and things will sit there for sometimes 3, 4, 5 days or a week. And I just can't re-engage and move forward because of whatever kind of obligations or mindset that I have about the game. And sometimes too, that can be even the way I approach playing a game. Like I look at a game and I say, well, I don't really know how to play it yet, so I'm not really going to play it. And what I've been trying to do over the past couple months is to really to break that down whenever I kind of run into it, and to realize that if I can make good videos and have fun playing games, I don't need to play the game really well. I don't need to play the game perfectly. I don't need to make this like incredibly awesome video every time I sit down and try to create a video, but just engage with it where you are so that things move forward, because that ultimately I think is the way to make better stuff and to play games at a higher level and to have more fun as you play games, is to just engage it where you are. And so I'm kind of thinking of this as a bias towards action rather than getting stuck in thinking and overcycling about the things that I don't know yet with either how to play a game or how to make a video. I'm not sure how to quantify that. I think this is more of a mindset goal than anything else. I'm curious if other people have this as well, but that's kind of what I'm trying to focus on. So I don't know if that means keeping like a Post-it note by my video or by my game table that says get stuck in, or just go forward, or keep going it. Really worked on this over the past couple months, and I think it's getting better, but it is something I want to keep at the forefront as I work forward in 2025 with board game and board game goals. 2 more to go. Goal number 7 is going to be a special video to itself. And it's got a little bit of a backstory, but goal number 7 is to successfully complete a Shelf of Shame challenge where I played 10 games from my shelf of shame. Now, I'm going to make a special video about this one. I'll put a link to it at the end of this video. But I did try this last year. It went okay. I think I can do better. Part of the reason why I want to do this too is that I was gone from board gaming really, except for like casual board gaming. I was gone from historical board gaming for about 25 years, till about 3.5 years ago. When I came back into it, I put aside a little bit of money to say, okay, let's buy some of the iconic board games that are out there. And slowly but surely, I've been playing these. But I have a collection of games that I haven't played. Maybe you can relate to this too. And I really, really want to chip away at those because there's some fantastic iconic games in there. So I want to kind of make sure I balance out with playing the new stuff with the great stuff that already exists. And so that's part of the reason that I want to have a Shelf of Shame challenge. My goal is to complete it. And I'm going to make a whole video on this because I want to talk a little bit about the games that are in this. And I would like a little bit of help in picking some of the games as I did last year for that. So we're down to the last goal, and this one is in a priority order. The first 7 goals are kind of all mixed up and random. There's not really a priority order in there. This last one, however, is my number 1 goal for 2025, and that is to focus on the joy. When I got back into board gaming 3.5 years ago, a lot of it was due to, I was really struggling during the pandemic. We're all alone, and it was hard to get together with people, and it was just a really awkward time. Really struggled to find joy, and board games, I think, really opened up that potential both to connect with people with like mindsets that enjoy games. My love for historical gaming really got revitalized. It's led to this YouTube channel and the stuff, and incredible people I've had an opportunity to meet and all kinds of great experiences. So I'm incredibly grateful to board gaming for all that it's done for me. But the biggest thing I've noticed is I'm more joyful because of board games. They really have brought an element of, I'm going to say it sounds a little corny maybe, but they've made things brighter, right? It's just fun to sit around the table and to play games with people. And even if it's asynchronous, just the creativity that we have available in our games today, both to learn about historical subjects, to get together and engage, socialize with people in a way that really gets us out of our digital realm and brings us all around the table with little pieces of wood and cardboard and just create these stories in our mind. I just absolutely adore everything that board gaming presents to us. And I want to make sure that I don't lose that I don't quantify it with games played or winning or victories or videos made and all those kinds of things, and just constantly keep at the forefront why I like this. And that's to remember to focus on the joy. And that is my number 1 goal in 2025. There's no way to quantify this, right? It's just got to be here in the front of your head. And sometimes you just got to pause and ask yourself that question. Am I focusing on the fun? Am I focusing on helping other people around this table to have a good time too? Because it's not just about us or just about you. It's about everybody at that table. And so that is my number 1 goal for 2025. It's been the goal for 2022, 2023, and 2024. And I feel pretty good that I've largely been able to keep that at the forefront. But it always has to be stated and it always has to be remembered. That's why I'm doing this. And that's what I want to keep in mind for 2025. Thanks so much for watching. I'll put a link to my Shelf of Shame challenge video over there if you'd like to check that one out. I hope you have a great year of gaming, of board gaming in 2025. And post down below, what goals do you have? What do you hope to do, achieve, accomplish, see, and experience with board games in 2025? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks. Bye.